Resident Evil, Welcome to Raccoon City is the 7th live-action Resident Evil movie and is actually a reboot of the previous 6 that, for some stupid reason, I own on Blu-ray. You guys know my collecting capabilities and tendencies, and I just like buying shit sometimes. Once the booming home of a pharmaceutical giant umbrella corporation, Raccoon City is now a dying Midwestern town. The company's exodus left the city a wasteland, with great evil brewing below the surface. When that evil is unleashed, the townspeople are forever changed, and a small group of survivors must work together to uncover the truth behind Umbrella and make it through the night. Welcome to Raccoon City attempts to develop the first 2 video games in the Resident Evil series, so Resident Evil and Resident Evil 2. I've played a couple of the video games. I played Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3, and those were the remakes. I started Resident Evil Village, which is up here behind me, but I never finished it. I'm not one to admit this, but the reason I didn't finish it, other than I got really busy, I never went back to finish it because I never got past the Dimitrescu mansion part, because that was fucking scary. I mean, could you just imagine playing this game, going along, going through the mansion, be like, alright, I'm trying to get back to the safe room so I can save at the typewriter. Da-na-na-na-na, na-na-na-na-na, enjoying killing some weird people in this man.
Where's the safe room? Spray! It's the Dimitrescu safe room! Typewriter! Where's the typewriter? Oh shit! No! I'm dead! That was scary!
So now you know why I never finished Resident Evil Village. I'm gonna go back and play it one day, though. Don't worry. Welcome to Raccoon City is luckily better than most Resident Evil movies. I don't think it's better than Resident Evil Apocalypse. Resident Evil Apocalypse is a shit movie, but damn, it's a guilty pleasure. It's the most fun I have watching any of these stupid movies. It's the best one. You'll understand what I mean. Plus, too, it has Nemesis, and Nemesis actually looks somewhat accurate to the game. I used to think he looked really accurate, but last time I watched it, I was like, okay, maybe he's not so accurate. At least they attempted to get that right, and at least this movie doesn't follow some made-up character that wasn't in the video games, like Alice, and there's no commando military unit that has to go through this room that's covered in lasers, and it slices them in half, and into bits. Yeah, none of that. All of that's gone. Luckily, this movie mostly captures the creepy atmosphere, the tone, and the creepy imagery that the games really have. There is not a single moment in this film where I said to myself, this doesn't feel like Resident Evil. I still felt like it was Resident Evil, despite really this being a mishmash of the first 2 games, which I don't think should have happened. You're creating a video game movie, and you're combining the plots of 2 games that were probably, what, 20 hours? Into an hour and 45-minute movie, and you could argue, yeah, a Resident Evil movie could be the easiest video game movie to make. In a day and age where video game movies aren't easy to make because you're adapting so much gameplay into a hour-and-a-half to 2-hour movie, I've always thought video game movies should be pushing closer to 3 hours, but even then, you probably can't cover everything, which is why I'm really happy that something like The Last of Us is going to HBO Max, and if this movie doesn't resonate well with audiences, and The Last of Us is really a streaming hit on HBO Max, I can see the future of video game adaptations going to streaming services. I think just combining the first 2 video games into one single movie was a mistake. This should have been an adaptation of just the first game. You know, I am happy that we actually follow the characters of the video game. Like, we have Claire Redfield, Chris Redfield, Leon Kennedy, and Jill Valentine. Those are the characters that I want to see in a Resident Evil movie. Those are the characters that we play as in the video game. I'm trying to think of the reason why Johannes Roberts, who wrote and directed this movie, which was a bold choice by Sony, to say the least, considering his history with the 47 Meters Down movies that are unintentional comedies. I really don't know if that's an upgrade over Paul W.S. Anderson. It's really interesting because if this is going to be an elongated series like the previous 6 films were, maybe that was their way of saying these characters are going to be in all of the movies, not just going to be, oh, hey, Jill Valentine's in one of them, then she's absent for the second one, she comes back in the third one, and I don't know what happens after that, or hey, there's no Claire Redfield in whatever, which one, you know, so maybe that was their way of saying these are all the characters that you love in one movie. I think kind of overstuffed the movie a little bit, and two plots converging on each other just didn't really work for me because it honestly made it less interesting. There's something going on with this mansion and some evil doings down there below it, and then you have all the stuff with Claire and Leon and the police station, which is a little bit more interesting but still not as cool as the video games make it a lot better. Oh, trust me. I will give props to that police chief though. Anytime there's an awesome police chief in a movie, I'm gonna compliment him. Got some laughs out of me to a certain degree. Once he actually became a character in the movie, I said, no, this dude's not the same funny, witty dick that he was 45 minutes ago. But when hardcore Resident Evil fans are watching this movie, I think that they will still be mostly disappointed because of how hollow the plot is from developing two games into one movie. It's gonna feel a bit boring, and for somebody like me who doesn't really like the last ones and thinks that this is somehow a significant improvement over its predecessors, other than Apocalypse. It was just a movie that went in one ear and out the other. I can tell you the characters that are in the movie. I can tell you the actors and actresses that play these characters. I showed up. I got to know what I needed to know for an hour and 45 minutes, and then I left and said, see you later. This information is irrelevant to me now. And for many hardcore fans of the video games, this is going to seem more like just a fan film that doesn't feel like a Resident Evil movie, and it just has Easter eggs in there. Like, for instance, the Raccoon City Police Department is designed exactly the same way it is in the Resident Evil remake. The same visual structure of that police department. I saw the outside of it, I said, that's how it looks in the video game. And then they filmed inside the police station. I said, that is in the video game. And there was a giant puzzle in there that I remember doing, and it was a pain in the ass because I had Mr. X chasing me. But you don't have Mr. X, you don't have Nemesis. So for many fans of the game, they probably are going to be disappointed to learn that many specific elements of the video game aren't going to be here, and they are just treated as Easter eggs. And when we're looking at it from a filmmaking standpoint, yes, it is significantly better than the previous movies in the series, but it also still suffers from stilted acting. I mean, Hannah John Kamen as Jill Valentine had some really terrible line delivery. Avon Jogia doesn't really strike me as Leon Kennedy. Robbie Amell as Chris Redfield? Why do I want to discount Amell brother? Dude played black-haired Fred in the made-for-TV Scooby-Doo movies. That wasn't Fred, that was Frank. The only one that I thought was actually cast decently was Kaya Scodelario as Claire Redfield. And every time it cut back to Claire Redfield, I was like, I want more of Claire in this movie. I played the campaigns surrounding Claire Redfield when I played Resident Evil 2. I haven't gone back and played, is it Leon in that game? I think it's Leon in that game. So I haven't played as Leon yet in that game. When I go back and play it, I'll play as Leon. But I loved everything in that game with Claire Redfield and what she had to deal with in that. And I liked everything that she was dealing with in here, except that these characters, these four main characters that we love from the Resident Evil video games, are nowhere near as interesting as they are in the games. It's just, oh, hey, I'm here because my brother's here. Oh, hey, Leon's a rookie cop. Oh, Jill Valentine and Chris Redfield are cops. That's all you get. The editing is super, super, super bizarre, too. There was a sequence in the middle of this movie where I said, did Paul W.S. Anderson ghost direct this movie? Because it's all dark, and all you see is the guns going off. You can't tell who's who. You can't tell who is where. It's just guns going off, so when somebody gets hit or somebody gets shot, first of all, when somebody gets hit, I'm like, mix the blue and the red herbs together and you get green, and that'll regenerate your health. So do that first. Second of all, who's getting shot here? Who's getting hit here? I have no idea. That was some of the editing in this movie, and it was weird for me too, because there would be scenes where I said, okay, this is going somewhere, and then all of a sudden it just comes up with a black screen with a timestamp because the plot revolves around something where they have to do a certain thing by a certain time. And so it'll just be like, hey, look, there's a liquor! 5:23 a.m. We're like, whoa, 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 whoa. There's a liquor up there. You're just not going to acknowledge that at all. Okay, fine. That's totally cool. For the most part, I did enjoy watching Welcome to Raccoon City. It's a significant improvement. It at least captured the tone, the creepy vibe, and atmosphere of the video games, and it included the video game characters. It's just still not as well made as it probably should have been. It's instantly forgettable the moment you leave the theater. You get what you need for an hour and 45 minutes, and then you just leave and get back in your car, or get back in the train if you live in a city, and go home and maybe just play Resident Evil Village again.
I feel no pain.
I enjoyed Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City enough with half a bucket of popcorn. As of right now, it's my second favorite Resident Evil movie behind Apocalypse. Like I said, Apocalypse is just a guilty pleasure. It's just a dumb, stupid movie that knows exactly what it is, which the other Resident Evil movies, if you're not going to follow the game and create some made-up, stupid bullshit character like Alice, played by Mila Jovovich, honestly probably should have played Jill Valentine, because I think she looks like Jill Valentine, but if you're going to make up some character like that out of the blue, they should have made those movies more fun, like Resident Evil Apocalypse. Didn't have to, even if they weren't good, they could have been like that. Welcome to Raccoon City is at least an attempt to be a faithful adaptation. It's just, I don't think that the last series and this movie have the right creative minds behind it. What did you guys think of the new Resident Evil reboot? Drop me some feedback in the comment section below. I'll leave my link to my website in the description below as well. You guys are the best. Thank you for watching. My name is Alex Madden, and I'll see you at the movies somewhere.